We're back once again with another stimulus check update for you. And today we're going to be talking about phase 4 stimulus bill from the Senate. And the House has an announcement and Trump has an announcement also as well. This is for our second stimulus check update for today, July 31st of 2020. And make sure you watch this video all the way through to the end, so that way you don't miss out on the special bonus that I have in store for you. And also, we're going to go over President Donald Trump's announcement and an announcement from the House of Representatives too also. And if you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up. We need as many thumbs up as we can get on this video, so that way YouTube can promote the video and the channel also. And if you haven't already, definitely subscribe using the button below and leave me a comment and let me know what you think about all of this here. First up on our agenda, we're talking about the PPP loans and how they have affected unemployment. Now, basically, the Paycheck Protection Program, or the PPP, it is not working for some small businesses, according to a new report by S&P Global Market Intelligence. That's a financial data research firm. The report released Thursday indicates more than 150 businesses that are in aggregate received hundreds of millions of dollars in PPP funding have announced plans to lay off thousands of employees. And the report's authors found the C-word sickness crisis is hurting businesses for far longer than the original PPP program had contemplated. Now, the companies, including music venues, hotels, and fitness centers, received between $291.6 million and $647.5 million in total PPP funding. Now, still, those companies announced plans between May 1st and July 17th to lay off or furlough 15,814 employees, according to the analysis. Now, here's a breakdown on some of the PPP loan recipients with the most layoffs. Now, Laz Parking Realty Investors, LLC in Massachusetts, type of reduction not stated, but the jobs that were affected were 627 jobs. They received loan amounts of $150,000 to $350,000 in PPP loan money. You have Segerstrom Center for the Arts in California, permanent layoffs, 521 jobs affected, $2 million to $5 million in loans. And you have Bartell Hotels, Texas Steel Conversion Incorporated in Texas. Not only that, but you have Dell has been hit with new layoffs and says that cuts are unrelated to the C-word sickness pandemic. MGM Resorts plans to lay off sports and entertainment employees as the company cancels August shows. And Walmart is laying off hundreds of workers as part of their reorganization. Meritz lays off hundreds in the wake of the C-word sickness, but former employees say problems have been brewing for a while. So the list goes on and on and on here of all the layoffs that are going on right now. So it's really a shame that these companies have been getting PPP funding from the CARES Act that was passed by Congress back in March. Okay, but they have not been a positive influence on unemployment. As a matter of fact, a lot of these companies have still went ahead and laid off employees. Now, it's, Marco Rubio, one of the prominent senators in Congress, said the PPP and other small business provisions under the CARES Act have been an historic lifeline to millions of small businesses and tens of millions of American workers. Now, Congress must take action to help industries and businesses, especially minority-owned small businesses and those in low-income communities that have been hit hard by the C-word sickness pandemic. Now, basically, the last proposal from the Senate includes another round of PPP funding to businesses that have less than 300 employees. And I'm really glad that they made it less than 300 employees instead of what they had it at before, because now smaller companies, which have been hit the hardest from this pandemic, can take advantage of these benefits, and hopefully they can retain some of the employees here too also. Now, there's also been a surge in evictions too also, and a prominent economist named Tendai Kapfidze, that's Kapfidze. I'm terrible with pronouncing his name for some reason, but he's a chief economist at LendingTree. He did an interview with CNBC. And basically what he was saying, that a surge in rental property evictions could have a domino effect on the broader housing market and economy. Now, according to his words, he said on the exchange, this really could be catastrophic, and it extends beyond just the rental industry. It could affect the single-family housing market and the economy as a whole. Now, he called for the federal government to take action to halt evictions during the C-word pandemic and extend special unemployment benefits to prevent a further breakdown in the economy. Now, in other headlines, according to CNBC Make It, Congress is debating what to include in the next stimulus bill. Around 30 million Americans will officially fall off an income cliff. Now, starting August 1st, their weekly unemployment insurance payments will drop by $600 as the federal enhanced benefit put in place under the CARES Act expires, and that expires as of tonight. Now, that could mean a 2/3 decrease in income for some, according to an analysis by the House Ways and Means Committee. And because Congress did not pass another bill this month, benefits will lapse for at least a few weeks. This represents a major drop in living standards for millions of Americans, forcing people to survive on far less than they have been earning prior to the pandemic and cut spending on necessities with negative ripple effects throughout the economy, writes Thea M. Lee, president of the Economic Policy Institute, a left-leaning policy think tank. Now, Republicans are on board with including another one-time stimulus check in the bill, but what to do about unemployment insurance, that's kind of like very, that's what the battle is going on right now between Democrats and Republicans also. And the president also, he just wants to extend the $600 a week unemployment benefit insurance temporarily, with some sort of a temporary relief for 1 week to the people that have been receiving it since the CARES Act was passed back in March. Now, Trump is also blasting the Democrats too also as well, and putting blame on the Democrats. Okay. And basically today he tweeted out on Twitter, the Democrats are holding back the $1,200 to $3,400 family of four checks that were ready to be sent out. Now, here are some key facts. According to Forbes, the IRS needs to be legally authorized to send out direct payments. 2, under the CARES Act, the stimulus check payments were technically an advance on a new 2020 tax credit that had been codified into law. That's why the IRS was able to prepare and send them. 3, Democrats, Republicans, and the White House are nowhere close to a deal on any new stimulus legislation, even though both parties and the Trump administration agree, as of now, that another round of payments should be included in the next package. Until a new law is passed, the IRS won't be authorized to prepare any new checks. The IRS referred questions about a second check to the Treasury Department, which didn't immediately return a request for comment. One big issue holding up negotiations in Washington is the federal supplement of $600 a week in unemployment insurance that expires tonight. And lawmakers have been unable to come up with an agreement on how it should be extended at all. Okay, now both the House Democrats and the Senate Republicans included a plan to send a second round of $1,200 stimulus checks structured very similarly to those under the CARES Act. Now, in their proposals, the HEROES Act and the HEALS Act, earlier this week, Trump suggested that the next round of payments may be higher than the $1,200 per eligible adult that both parties agree on. There's no evidence that this is likely to happen, however, and there has also been other direct payment plans floated by lawmakers, including Senator Mitt Romney, Kamala Harris, but those are unlikely to gain traction. Okay, so we all know what's really going on here with Trump is that Trump is in deep trouble right now. And because nearly 2/3 of Americans disapprove of President Trump's handling of three major challenges that's facing the country as of this year. One, the C-word sickness pandemic. Two, nationwide unrest over racial inequality and relations with Russia, a sign of the obstacles that his re-election bid faces just 3 months before elections day. Now, this is a new ABC News Ipsos poll. Now, basically what's going on here is his approval sits at 34%, right about where it was earlier this month, 33%, when it reached a new low since ABC News Ipsos poll began surveying on the C-word sickness back in March. Now, that's his approval ratings on the pandemic. In the new poll that was conducted with ABC News, Trump's approval is also deeply underwater at 36% for how he's handling both the protesters over racial inequality and relations with one of the country's greatest geopolitical foes, Russia. Republicans back Trump's handling of the pandemic 74%, the protests 78%, Russia 80% by overwhelming margins. Now, Democrats, as far as the pandemic, they're at 7%, the racial unrest and protests 8%, and the Russia situation 8%. And 1 in 5 Republicans disapprove on the president's handling of the pandemic by 26%. Protests 22%, Russia 20%, and over 9 in 10 Democrats disapprove on all three matters. Now, we know that the independents pretty much are going to influence this election too also as well, and his approval rating fell between 30 to 33% on the pandemic, and half of Trump's base, white, non-college educated Americans, approve of his leadership on the outbreak 50%, the protests 51%, and Russia 51%. So Trump is really in deep water here. We all know that, right? And this is the reason why Trump has been making all these comments on the news to reporters at the White House, on the White House lawn, in the daily briefings that he does too. He's making all these comments on the stimulus checks, saying that he wants the stimulus checks to be larger than what the Democrats wanted. They may be bigger. He wants to take care of the people, saying that he loves the people, and all of these wondrous comments, and talking about expanding the ban on evictions and the PPP and all these things that Trump's saying that he wants to do for the people. The reason why he's saying this, because he knows he's losing, okay? And he's losing very badly. And the polls, all of the polls are reflecting this, okay? And he knows also that in the 6 battleground states, which will pretty much determine who our next president is, that a poll was done that the majority of the people in those states, they want more stimulus checks. Okay. And they also want the unemployment $600 extra benefit boost extended also as well. So Trump knows all of this. He keeps track of the poll numbers, and he got rid of his last campaign manager. He got a new campaign manager now, and he's really on top of it. What I'm really worried about here is because of these disagreements between Trump and the White House administration and the Republicans in the Senate, and the disagreements between Republican senators and other Republican senators, and the disagreements between all of them and the House, the Democrats in the House of Representatives. I'm worried, really honestly worried, that a bill will not get passed before the Senate goes on recess on August 8th. I'm really worried about that. And some of the YouTube stimulus check gurus testified to that fact too also as well. That worry, I should say. I wouldn't say it's a fact right now because anything could happen by August 8th, but it is a worry. You know, two very prominent stimulus check update YouTubers. One, Kevin, he said in a statement today in one of his stimulus check update videos that it could possibly not happen. Meaning it could, I'm just paraphrasing here, that it could possibly not happen. Another one, Kung Fu Hustler, I believe his name is, he said pretty much the same thing in different words, that he believes it will not happen by August 8th. Mark Meadows also said, Mark Meadows is the White House chief of staff. He also said kind of along the same lines that he believes that an agreement will not come within the next few weeks. So that's one of my worries here. And also what makes me even more worried about that is because if this lingers on longer, more towards the election time, and say the Senate goes on recess on August 8th, they come back in September, and bam, they pass a bill, then that would be closer to the election. Okay. And what happens around the last 90 days around leading up to the election day, it really affects people's voting. And Trump knows this. So, I don't know if Trump is planning this out. If this is part of Trump's plan to help him win the election in November, but he's doing really horribly right now. I mean, the last time they sent out a stimulus check, Trump's poll numbers skyrocketed up. But let's get down here to Trump's announcement today. Okay, President Donald Trump said today that he's looking at ways to extend the pause on monthly payments for federal student loans, an emergency benefit set to expire at the end of September. Speaking at the White House, Trump ticked through a list of actions his administration had taken so far to bolster the economy among the C-word pandemic and he said he is considering extending the payment freeze that without action would end for some 40 million Americans just weeks before the November election. The president said we also suspended student loan payments for 6 months. We're looking to do that additionally and for additional periods of times. So basically, what has happened that he's referring to here is that the CARES Act had put a pause on student loan payments until September 30th, and that's when it expires. And he wants to continue that to also as well. So that was the announcement that Trump had made today. And there was another announcement here. I know you've all been waiting for this announcement from the House of Representatives also as well. And they announced today that they are canceling its traditional August recess. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer announced today, as congressional negotiations over the next C word relief legislation have passed and reached an impasse or a stalemate. Hoyer said that the House would remain in session until a deal on a bill is reached. It's expected that the House will meet during the month of August, Hoyer said in a speech on the House floor. I've told my members, I've told the minority leader and whip that no one should schedule themselves for next week or until such time as we adopt new legislation. Members of Congress traditionally take the month of August to return to their districts and conduct business there. Hoyer said, we will not start the August district work period until we pass appropriate relief legislation to meet the current health and economic crisis confronting our people and our country. So it's unclear whether the Senate will continue working through August as well. According to Mitch McConnell said basically that the Senate will continue to take its recess after August 7th as planned. So that means they will go out for a month, whether or not they pass a new stimulus bill. The House Democrats proposed and passed a $3 trillion package in May. Senate Republicans offered their own $1 trillion proposal on Monday called the HEALS Act. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer are opposed to passing relief legislation in a piecemeal fashion. So that's why they are rejecting Trump's proposal to pass a temporary extension of the $600 unemployment boost. And they're calling for a single comprehensive bill. That's what the House leader and Senate Minority Leader are calling for, the Democrats, basically. And then late night, now, I know I said yesterday that there was going to be a negotiation last night. So basically, in the late night negotiations with congressional Democrats last night, White House officials ordered a short-term extension of the popular unemployment benefit payout of work Americans $600 per week, a CARES Act provision that formally expires tonight. But Pelosi and Schumer rejected the offer, arguing that Republicans don't understand that the situation requires a solution that is larger in scope. So there we have it, people. I guess we're hearing more and more, as these debates unfold. And we also heard that the Senate had voted yesterday, and the results of the vote was 47-42. And the reason that they were voting was to determine whether or not they should debate on a stimulus proposal or bill that was passed by the House of Representatives. And because it was 47-42 in favor of the debate, the Senate will start the debate next week. Now, I'm still looking for more information on that to find out exactly what bill from the House that the Senate plans on debating on next week. And I will have that for you as soon as the news becomes available. So that's all I got for you guys for today. And make sure that you join our Facebook group so you can get more stimulus check update information. And give this video a like. We need as many thumbs up as we can get, so that way YouTube can promote our video and more people can see the video. So if you want more people to see the video, give a thumbs up, give a thumbs down. It doesn't matter. And also see the links in the description for free money and other helpful resources too also as well. And from all of us here at the How to Get an 800 Credit Score Family LLC, stay safe, be blessed, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now, but see you tomorrow. My name is Lyndon Baptiste, and on this channel we talk about ways to increase your credit score, build credit, and get approved for the lowest payments on mortgages and lines of credit, travel the world for free, earn extra money with cash back. And if that interests you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. That way you'll never miss a single video as we make